Why are humans forbidden from this island? Surtsey Island. There's an island where humans are absolutely forbidden. No tourists, no explorers. If you set foot on it without permission, you could face serious legal consequences. But here's the thing, this island didn't even exist 60 years ago. It literally rose from the ocean floor in one of the most violent births ever witnessed. And what scientists discovered there changed everything we thought we knew about life on Earth. November 14th, 1963. Off the southern coast of Iceland, fishermen noticed something terrifying. The ocean was boiling. Massive columns of black ash were exploding from the water, shooting nearly 20,000 feet into the sky. The eruption was so violent that pilots flying overhead thought they were witnessing a nuclear explosion. Within hours, an island began to rise from the depths, and within weeks, it was over a mile long. They named it Surtsey, after Surtur, the Norse fire giant destined to set the world ablaze during Ragnarok. But this wasn't just any volcanic island. This was something science had been waiting centuries for: the birth. The eruption lasted for 4 years. 4 years. Lava fountains reaching hundreds of feet high. Ash clouds so thick they turned day into night. The island grew and grew, swallowing boats that came too close, creating its own weather systems. At its peak, Surtsey was nearly 500 feet above sea level and covered almost 1.5 square miles. But here's where it gets interesting. Scientists realized they were witnessing something almost impossible: the birth of a completely sterile landmass. No bacteria, no seeds, no life whatsoever. Just raw volcanic rock cooling in the North Atlantic. This was Earth's reset button being pressed in real time. And that's when they made a decision that would change science forever. The decision. Within months of Surtsey's formation, Iceland did something unprecedented. They declared the entire island a nature reserve. Not for tourism, not for development, but for science. The island would become the most protected laboratory on Earth. No unauthorized humans allowed. Period. The rules were extreme. Anyone who wanted to visit needed special permission from the Icelandic government. Before stepping onto the island, scientists had to scrub their boots, clean their equipment, and ensure not a single seed, not a single microorganism could hitchhike onto Surtsey, because they were about to answer one of biology's biggest questions. How does life begin? The ban explained. So why the total ban on humans? Think about it. Every time you walk outside, your shoes pick up hundreds of seeds. Your clothes carry spores, bacteria, insects. Even your breath contains microorganisms. If regular people visited Surtsey, they'd contaminate the experiment. They'd introduce species that weren't supposed to be there. The data would be worthless. And people tried. In the early years, curious tourists would attempt to land on Surtsey. Some succeeded. Scientists later found bottle caps, cigarette butts, and human waste on the island. And you know what happened? Tomato plants started growing from the sewage. Tomatoes, on a volcanic island where they had no business existing. That's when Iceland got serious. Violate the ban now, and you're looking at massive fines, potential jail time, and international scientific shame. Surtsey became a fortress, the most isolated natural laboratory on the planet. What scientists discovered. So what did they find? In the first year, nothing. Just black volcanic rock and ash being hammered by North Atlantic storms. But scientists waited. They documented everything, every wind pattern, every wave, every piece of driftwood that washed ashore. Then, in 1965, the first life arrived. Not plants, not animals. Bacteria and fungi carried on the wind and in sea spray. They began breaking down the volcanic rock, creating the first microscopic pockets of soil. This was Genesis in real time, 4 years after the eruption. A single sea rocket plant was found growing on the northern shore. Scientists traced it back to a seed that had floated across 20 miles of ocean. One plant, but it survived, and when it died, it added organic material to the volcanic soil. Then came the birds. The birds change everything. Seabirds discovered Surtsey in the late 1960s. Gulls first, then fulmars, then guillemots. They didn't just visit, they nested. And here's why that matters. Bird droppings. Guano is loaded with nitrogen and phosphorus. It's natural fertilizer. Suddenly, Surtsey had nutrients. By 1970, scientists counted over a dozen plant species. Seeds arrived in bird droppings, stuck to bird feet, carried on feathers. The island was transforming, but it wasn't random. Scientists noticed patterns. Plants that could tolerate salt established themselves on the coast. Hardy grasses spread inland. Everything was happening in stages, exactly like evolutionary theory predicted. But then, something unexpected happened. In 2008, researchers found a completely new species on Surtsey. A bush that shouldn't have been there. Its nearest relative was hundreds of miles away. How did it arrive? Nobody knows. The mystery of how life spreads is still being written. 7 o'clock to 8:15. The ecosystem emerges. Today, Surtsey hosts over 70 plant species. Insects arrived. Flies, beetles, spiders blown in on the wind or carried by birds. Seals started hauling out on the beaches. Scientists even found earthworms in the soil, though how they got there remains a complete mystery. But here's the wildest part. The island is shrinking. Erosion is eating away at Surtsey's coastline. It's lost almost half its original size. Scientists estimate that in a few centuries, Surtsey might disappear entirely, sinking back beneath the waves. The island is temporary, but the data is forever. Researchers have documented every single species that arrived, when it arrived, and how it survived. They've created a blueprint for how life colonizes barren land. This data has implications for everything, from understanding how life might begin on other planets, to predicting how ecosystems will recover from disasters. Who gets to go? So who actually gets to visit Surtsey? The list is shockingly short. A handful of approved scientists per year, maybe 2 to 3 research trips annually. Each visit is meticulously planned, every sample cataloged, every footstep recorded. One researcher described landing on Surtsey as stepping onto another world. The silence is absolute. No trees rustling, no human sounds, just wind, waves, and bird calls. The volcanic sand is still warm in some places. You can see the layers of ash from different eruption phases, like geological history stacked in real time. And the rules are strict. Scientists can't eat on the island. Food scraps could introduce non-native species. They can't leave any equipment behind. Even the buildings they use for shelter have to be regularly inspected for invasive organisms. One research team accidentally brought in a single grain of barley. It sprouted. They had to remove it immediately. The larger implications. But Surtsey's story is bigger than one island. It's a window into Earth's past. Scientists believe this is how Iceland itself formed millions of years ago, volcanic eruptions building land from the seafloor. Surtsey is showing us the process in fast forward, and it's changing how we think about life in extreme environments. If bacteria and plants can colonize bare volcanic rock within decades, what does that mean for Mars? For the moons of Jupiter? Surtsey proves that life doesn't need much, just a foothold, just a chance. Climate researchers are studying Surtsey too. As global temperatures rise and glaciers melt, new land is being exposed in places like Antarctica and Greenland. How will life colonize those areas? Surtsey provides the answer. The island has even influenced conservation policy worldwide. Dozens of countries have created similar no-human zones to study ecological recovery. Surtsey showed that sometimes the best thing humans can do is stay away. So why are humans forbidden from Surtsey Island? Because we already dominate 99.9% of the planet. This one tiny island, this shrinking speck of volcanic rock in the North Atlantic, is our chance to see what Earth does when we're not interfering. And what it does is beautiful. In just 6 decades, Surtsey transformed from lifeless lava into a functioning ecosystem. Plants took root. Birds made homes. Life found a way, exactly like it has for billions of years. Scientists are still discovering new species there every year, still documenting how nature builds itself from nothing. Surtsey won't last forever. The ocean is reclaiming it wave by wave. But the lessons it taught us about resilience, about adaptation, about the unstoppable force of life itself, those are permanent. There's an island where humans are forbidden. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly how it should be. Because some places aren't meant for us. Some places are meant to remind us that we're not the center of the story. We're just one chapter in a book that started billions of years ago and will continue long after we're gone. Surtsey is Earth writing its own story, and all we can do is watch.